Hey, what's up, everybody? We are live here. We're live from Guttergawker. I gotta do my pant and move, Manny. What's up, man? Hey! Oops, I almost dropped everything. We got Manny from 503 here. Oh, Das Solo's in the house. We got 503 Game Vets already here. And check it out. We got a special guest co-host with me tonight. Let me introduce real quick. There she is.
What's up, guys?
Here, babe. Here.
Oh, right there?
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
There's Audrey.
Formal paranormal enthusiast and very excited to be here and participate in whatever way.
Thank you, Audrey.
I'm a bartender here when the world's not shut down.
Oh, Shannon Sullivan's here. Pucky's here. I'm going to go back to my camera now. I'll switch the camera in a minute. Hey, everybody's showing up. What's going on? Sorry, I got all these notifications and things going on. I got to turn off my phone. Sorry, Manny. How are you?
I'm great, man. How are you doing? How's everybody else out there in the chat room doing?
Oh, man. Look at it. We got a bunch of people here. This is awesome. Shannon Sullivan, Pucky, Big Cat, Das. Oh, this is awesome. Let me say hi to them real quick. Hi, guys. You guys saw Audrey, I hope. She's here. She's in the background right now. So I'm glad you joined me today, Manny. This is awesome. I really enjoy talking to people that love talking about UFOs. And ever since I saw you getting involved with Goof on Radio Stream, that you have a good heart and soul for this. You know, I want to hear some more about you. Did you like the thumbnail pic that I did for tonight's show? Did you guys see that? Tell me what you thought about that real quick.
Dude, I love that picture, man. When I saw it, I was like, that's Drexler and Jordan, man. That's got to be, you know. And it's funny because during that series when that photo was taken, I don't know if that photo was taken at the Memorial Coliseum here in Portland, but during that series, I was in downtown Portland as a teenager, and I walked by a restaurant called Jake's. It's a real high-end seafood restaurant, and this place is just packed. I mean, it's standing room only, and above everybody else, you see two heads, and it's Clyde Drexler and Michael Jordan. Wow. You know, and I was like, oh, there they are. You know, like after a game, they were out having oyster shooters together or whatever. You know, like it was pretty cool, man. You know, like I saw that picture, I was like, man, that was an appropriate picture for you to pick for a thumbnail. So yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it was cool. I really like it. You know, because the sports are gone right now. We don't have too much sports going on, so I like to add like a little sporting touch to it. And, you know, a lot of people that would show up here would be into sports, but all they have is paranormal and our talk now. So let's give it to you're in Portland, right? Is that where you're exactly at, or you're in Oregon? I'm sorry.
I'm in Portland, you know, and I've been here most of my life. I was born and raised here, you know, but I've been all over Portland and the metro area.
So when did you start getting involved with the paranormal in Portland?
Well, I've always been interested in, you know, UFOs, aliens, like anything that's out there, a little crazy, you know, and probably the last 4 or 5 years, I really came into touch with the fact that there is, you know, there's something going on in Portland too, you know, but really it makes me think that there's something going on everywhere, you know, like you get all over, you know, this country in the urban areas or even out in the countryside and stuff. And there's long histories of things. If people just really take a look, you know, and really open their minds and their eyes and ears, you can find stuff just about anywhere.
True. Do you have any favorite paranormal happenings around Portland that you know about personally or have been involved with or seen? Or
the only thing that I can say that I've seen myself was when I was a teenager as well. And I worked in a place that was an old movie theater, but had been converted into a video game arcade. Yeah, and way back in the day, it was a stage theater, and in between, it was like, for some reason, it was a mortuary for like 10 or 15 years. Like this place had a crazy history. But at some point when you know, I was there with my boss after hours, and I heard this noise, and he's like, "Oh, that's just the ghost," and I was like. And he said it so nonchalant, like that's exactly what it is. You know, he's like, yeah, it's the ghost. Come here, I'll show you. And he showed me this little, like an air vent over the stage. And he's like, yeah, we see something up in there. We hear this noise regularly, like every 2 or 3 weeks at the same time, you know? And I I guess he had taken some photos and sent them into someone, a psychic or something like that, and wrote a story about it to him and had him look into it. And they said that there was a fire, like 50 years before that, when it was a stage theater. There was a play going on, and there was a big fire, and some people got trampled, and were killed in the fire exiting. And that he believed it was one of those spirits that was still there. And I was like, whoa, dude, like, but my boss was just like, what can we do about this? Here it is. You just deal with it, like, and that was, I think I was, 15 years old when that happened, but that kind of opened my eyes, and I've always been responsive to it, but I've never really seen anything with my own two eyes that I can't really say is, oh, that's definitely something, supernatural or alien or whatever, like most of the stuff I see is light reflections and balloons and airplanes and God knows what, but, yeah, I'm very open to it. So I hope to catch something down the road.
Well, it's a good segue into your channel because you like to do that a lot. You like to put those videos in the crosshairs and really take a good look at them. How did you get involved with that? And like, how did you get involved in the YouTube overall? Like, what was the genesis of all that?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, like, okay, so that's two questions, right? Like, one is the research factor. How do I drill into something? Why do I go into it the way that I do? That's really just because that's what it takes me to convince my mind of something. I'm not just going to take an article that I read in the news and take it at face value and be like, oh, that's gospel. If they cite a report, well, I want to read the report. If they cite a different writer or something, I want to read that article too. I want all the information. Then I'm going to make up my mind. So yeah, how did I get into YouTubing? Well, I found that I was doing all this research on subjects, and I was creating these folders full of documents and links and screenshots and pictures and references. And when I drilled into something and satisfied myself that I was done with it, that I had, that I made up my mind, I would just get rid of all that stuff. And it's hours and hours and hours worth of work. I'm like, well, why don't I make videos out of this? Why don't I produce something with this instead of just deleting that, at the end of it? Maybe someone will be interested in it, and people are, like, and more people are getting interested in it. So, and that's why I have like links to all my research and stuff, so. Sorry,
waste your talent. You got great talent, man. That's for sure. Don't waste it. Keep those videos coming. I see you got people like Third Phase coming around talking to you. How do you feel about people like Third Phase? Do you enjoy their stuff, or do you want to do something more of your style, which you're already doing? But you know what I'm trying to get to? Like you have a different approach than they do, but in the same sense, you're kind of similar. So what's the difference between you guys?
Well, I'm not sure about Third Phase. Like I really like them. I've had limited interaction with them, and it's all been good. The brothers they're good guys. They're nice. They're friendly. I've watched their content. Just I don't know, maybe the last 2 months have I really kind of started watching their stuff. And I guess people have said in the past they've had a history of some kind of shenanigans. I don't know. I didn't really dig into it, but I can't speak to that. But I speak to what they're doing, to what these guys are doing nowadays, and I kind of like it because they're bringing out content to stuff or to people, and they're really trying to get opinions about it. Like they're throwing it out there and asking people what they think about it, and they're stating their opinions. They're not trying to sell it as fact. It doesn't seem to me, which a lot of channels kind of do, or they phrase things in certain ways, but there's a fine line in our field, like in ufology and in paranormal, between, hamming it up for clicks and keeping your integrity. And everybody who's in that industry or in this field, that you really gotta set that line for yourself, and, I don't know. I like I said, I think that they could do really good things. They're in a really good position to do good things for the field, and it looks like they want to. So we'll just have to see, and go from there.
Do you have a personal favorite YouTube paranormal channel that you just love watching? Maybe it's not like a live cast or a podcast or something that does produce paranormal that you enjoy.
You know, I don't have a lot of time to watch stuff like that. I'm researching and making my own videos, you know, like I do get out and research stuff to keep on, you know, keep on top of what's going on. But, you know, like really right now, I only I watch Rich's stream, the Goof on Radio stream while I'm working on stuff. I like to listen to him talk while I'm working, you know, but you know, there's not really any other channels that I would say right now that I've discovered that really kind of, you know, I would say are on top of it and moving. But it's not that I don't think they're not out there. It's just that I don't have the exposure to you know, qualify any of them. You know, I look at channels and I'm like, I can't tell if this guy's, you know, just making up clickbait or if he's legit. You know, it's hard for me in that field. In ufology, it's really easy. I can look at a channel in like 2 minutes and tell you what it is, you know. But paranormal, I need more experience.
What do you think about the security drama going on right now? Do you think Secure Team should still be around on YouTube, or do you think he should try something else?
Yeah, you know, whether we want him to be around or not, or anybody does, he is, and he's not going anywhere. But you know, I got to tell you this, man, on a personal level, like through this whole Tyler saga of everything, like I've been gone from left to right to back to forth. Like I love the guy, I hate the guy. I want to smack him and tell him to get his act together, you know. And you know, I really kind of felt for a long time he was getting what he deserved for a while. But you know, the recent stuff that's been going on with him, like I wouldn't wish some of that stuff on someone that I really, really hate. And I don't hate Tyler. You know what I mean? Like that's bad. Like going after somebody's family, you know, like you know, the way that Lions Ground has just gone right for the juggler with him is, to me, over the line. You know, like you don't go after somebody's family, buy their logo and hijack their company. Like honestly, you know, Tyler would have a good defense if he would hire the right attorney and just go after this the right way. But instead, he's trying to handle it, you know, personally, and he's trying to get his Twitter followers. I'm like, you know, like I don't know. I guess for the first time since he really, you know, since his arrest and his DUI and stuff, I kind of feel sorry for the guy, to be honest with you, at this point, with the way that he's been, you know, he's handled it. I don't think he made the right decisions. He should have been honest with everybody, you know, from the get-go. But, you know, I don't think he deserves the level of repercussions that he's had from this. You know, like that's kind of out there. And to me, it's kind of scary, you know, like if that's allowed, you know, just because he's the top dog, what's next? Or what happens if you become the top dog? You know, are people going to come after you like that? And is it fair? You know, like, I don't know. I think he could do it. He's still with 2 million subscribers. He could still do a lot for ufology, but he's got to come back and really suck some crow and just say, hey guys, I screwed up. I lied. And this is a completely new leaf, a new chapter, you know, and just come clean and be humble. And people might forgive him, but they probably won't forget. You know, I won't.
I agree. I think we should start a brand new channel myself, and if he gets his subs back, then he gets them back. You know, it shows that he's got some skill and some talent. But you know, if I ever make it big to Tyler's status, I had already disclaimered myself as a dirtbag. So everybody out there in the world, I've already said.
How funny! Oh my god!
Yeah, but I love UFOs. I've been a big fan of UFOs since 2009 is when I really started to begin seeing them. I've seen them a lot. My videos aren't the greatest. You know, it's really hard to plan out when a UFO shows up, you know. And when I usually did, Manny, maybe one day you could sit there and take a look at one of mine or two, or maybe I'll show you one of mine or two right now. But you know, they're all garbage. You know, you could say whatever about them, but if you're actually there witnessing the stuff go down, and I have seen it with groups of people, family and friends, happen night and day. You know, it's a real thing to me, UFOs. But what upsets me a lot is when I try to put my UFO videos up, so people will just automatically say, "Oh, it's a satellite, it's a balloon." Blah blah blah. They don't really give it the due diligence. You know, the people weren't really there to see what was going on. What do you think about, you know, people that are really trying to put out what they think are legitimate UFOs, but are just getting lambasted by the whole, you know, internet community about it?
Well, the thing is, there's always going to be skeptics, and there's always going to be people that no matter how good the footage are going to find some reason to discount it. If somebody's in good nature just trying to figure out what something is, then I'm all for it. That's what we're here for, and they should just get it out and not be worried about what the hecklers say. At that point, if it's you taking footage, and I spoke about this in my 10 tips video that I made, if you're the guy taking the footage, you have an edge because you're already at the location and the date and time. So you can go into your phone and pull up an astronomy app and rule out that it's a star cluster, a universe, it's something like that. And there are other applications that you can get to rule out satellites and use the Flight Radar 24 app to rule out the Google loon balloons and things like that, airplanes. Those show up on Flight Radar 24. So that's what I would say is if you're out doing it, make sure that you're equipped to document that other evidence, that supporting evidence, which would be the astronomy apps, Flight Radar, all that stuff. And then when people say, oh, that's a satellite, you're like, really? Because this astronomy app disagrees with you. So if you want to argue with them, go ahead. You're not arguing with me. You know what I mean? You just hand them off to... Yeah.
When I have all those tools on my cell phone now. I got the astronomy, I got the flight map,
You got it.
Back in the day when I was recording this, I had no idea about any of that stuff, So, where I'm at now is light years compared to them. But back then when I did have the time to UFO record, I had went through a series of back surgeries over a 3-year span. And so, a good year and a half, I was just chilling out in the backyard, just trying to deal with the pain and staring up at the sky. But I had lots of time to sit there and record stuff, Over the past couple of years, I've had not much time to record because I've been working. But, with the pandemic stuff going on and I have a little break, I'm going to try to get back into it. And use all the tips and things that you provided. I thought that was all really good stuff.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Audrey wants to talk for a second here. Hang on.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Audrey.
How much am I allowed to make?
You can say it.
I wanted to ask somebody else and other people who have intelligent opinions about this. What are the implications and what exactly does it mean that, recently the FBI released these files about UFOs. Is that just like pandering or is there some real implications to that? What do intelligent minds think about
So
it?
you're asking Manny this.
I'm asking you and I'm asking other people that have open minds. What does this mean?
Let's ask Manny first. So Manny, did you hear Audrey's question?
Yeah, I understand what she's asking. Definitely, the recent certification by the Department of Defense about the 3 videos that Lou Elizondo gave to the Stars Academy to release. To be honest with you. Dave Scott said something about it on the Goof On radio stream that really rung true to me. And that move was mainly a political move. It was mainly because the Pentagon didn't like that TTSA put their name all over that stuff and tried to take credit for releasing it. The truth is that those videos had been out for, a year and a half, I think it was, or they'd been out for a length of time. So the Pentagon certifying that they were accurate and true recordings really doesn't mean much because we already knew that.
Right.
Yeah, when George Knapp first ran the article about it with Lou Elizondo, the Pentagon denied it at that point, and they said, "No, you don't have the right to release those. We don't know anything about that." Well, George Knapp held him to task, and he showed him the documents that said that the official documents that showed that they did, and made them come out. Basically, he forced their hand, is what I'm saying, and that's why they came out and acknowledged that they were legitimate. But in doing so, they also took back the kind of the copyright on it, so to speak, away from TTSA and took it back to the DoD and the Pentagon. So, that's kind of the long story. The short story is it really doesn't mean much. They didn't tell us anything we already knew.
Yeah, we knew that, but I was hoping maybe the government was getting closer to acknowledging reality.
Yeah, they're not any closer to disclosure with that than anything else. They might as well be. With Space Force and everything that you're looking at, they definitely believe that there's something going on in space or is going to be very soon. So, that tells you more. You don't look at their action or their words, you look at their actions because they're liars. Sorry.
Manny, do you think there will be a worldwide disclosure anytime soon in the future? Like our generation now alive will know it's a fact.
I don't think there will ever be disclosure in that the government of any kind comes out and says, hey, aliens have existed and we've known all along and we've had their tech and blah, blah, blah. Like it's just, they could never admit that, so it just won't happen, even if it is true. What we might get is, some kind of drip feed where they play stupid up until they can't anymore, but and maybe that's where we're at now. Maybe something's coming and they know it and they've got to just prepare us for it no matter what, like the best they can without admitting the truth,
What do you, have you heard anything about, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Dave.
Oh, no, go ahead. I was done with that.
It's just all, hypothesis, a lot of this is, but what do you think about the implications surrounding a lot of personal friends I know have witnessed things during the last major solar eclipse, and they're saying that 2024, the eclipse might be some sort of gate or portal. What are any thoughts on that? Some people think we're heading towards an event in 2024 where we might interface or first contact. It's just a theory, like everything else.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, like at this point, for there to be some kind of first contact for everyone to accept, it's going to have to be like in the movie Star Trek, where an alien ship comes down and lands in front of a bunch of people and people walk out and shake their hand and are like, hey, you want to be friends? Like it's going to take something like that. Other than that, you're going to need, I hate to say it, but an actual UFO or an actual body, what I mean, of an alien. You're going to have something physical.
That's really interesting when you get that example. Now, in First Contact, they only thought that we were worthy of interfacing with when we were able to demonstrate a certain advancement in technology. So it might take some event that we would have to do. It would be interesting to see if we'll evolve before that point.
Right. Or maybe there's a socio-political standard where you have to have evolved so far along a moral compass before they will, allow you into something bigger. I don't know. It could be something technological or spiritual, so to speak. I don't know.
All right, wait. Matt has a point he wants to make. Go ahead, Matt.
So I'd like to make a small point about UFOs. The U in UFOs stands for unidentified, obviously. So, well, I acknowledge that there are numerous phenomenon that we can't necessarily explain. Audrey, skip the middle step. Sorry, we're painting here. Well, I acknowledge that there are numerous phenomena that we can't exactly explain. I don't necessarily know that those phenomenon are responsible, or that aliens are responsible for said phenomenon,
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I mean, I've heard a number of different hypotheses about what could be causing those. I mean, it could just as easily be time travelers. Me personally, I think that a lot of those are likely unknown atmospheric or quantum phenomenon, like shit going on electrically and with light that we don't quite understand yet. But also I've heard theories that it's travelers from different dimensions. I mean,
let's ask Manny what he thinks.
I mean, I'm just saying aliens aren't the only possible explanation for UFOs. I mean, the U's for unidentified, as I said.
Manny, what's your feelings on his on Matt's thoughts?
He makes a great point, and it's one that comes up in our field quite a bit, because there is no definite, concrete definition for UFO versus alien ship. To me, when I say UFO, it means anything that I can't identify within a good margin of error.
Oh, absolutely.
So if I take something and I say it's an alien ship, well, it's no longer a UFO because I'm saying it's an alien ship. The same goes for a Google weather or loon balloon, or whether I say, well, that's some kind of secret test plane that we're seeing with stealth technology, like that sort of thing.
What I'm saying is we can't say for sure that it is aliens, and we can't say for sure that it's not aliens. And there are other as likely hypotheses that I don't think get exposure is the idea of aliens. I think a lot of people, anything they don't know, they think, oh, well, that must be aliens. But who knows? I mean, there's limits to what we understand with science currently. I mean, certainly, I view myself as a man of science, but there's things that we don't at this time understand. And again, I can't say for certain that they're not aliens, just in the same way that you can't say for certain that they are aliens.
Very true. Very true.
Right. And I wouldn't actually, if I were to take something out of the UFO category personally myself and say, this is aliens, well, I'm going to say aliens, or I'm going to say this is a portal, or this is a sprite, or this is a space blanket blown off of the ISS, or this is a star. I'm going to take it out and qualify it further, and that's something that ufology really needs, is some concrete definitions, of what UFO means versus alien, because everyone says UFO, and to me that's unidentified. It's not an alien ship. An alien ship's an alien ship. We're talking about advanced technology. That's different than a portal. That's different than X-37B. These are all different items, so once we get into like portals and time travelers and things like that's basically what I call the X factor. That could be anything. I don't know what it is. It could be anything past, I never will know, because if there's not concrete evidence, it's pure speculation, so we could speculate all day long about what the X factor is, but at some point we're going to say, no, this looks more like an alien craft. This looks more like a sprite, this looks more like a prism of light due to a storm,
I think we both hope that one day there will be a definitive answer to these questions, and I think anyone, you got to have an open mind to different possibilities. I mean, a great example of that was, for a long time, gorillas were thought to be a mythological creature, which now we understand to be completely real,
Have you ever heard that, Manny, before?
That what? Gorillas were believed to be a myth?
Yeah.
I can't say that I have, but I'll take your word for it.
By Europeans. Look it up. Look it up.
No, okay.
It's possible.
Well, that's okay. I mean, at one point, popular science believed that Earth was the center of the universe, or the galaxy, or the solar system, and also believed that the planet was flat. I mean, that's part. I mean, as a man of science, I'm sure you can understand that. Science
absolutely
progresses. It's based on fact and evidence.
Exactly what I'm saying is that you can't consider yourself a person of science if you think you have all the answers. Science is a constant quest for those answers.
Right. Yeah. To me, it's about looking at all the evidence, and that gives you your conclusion, not seeking 100%. The evidence to match your conclusion.
100%. It's all about evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Manny, what kind of evidence, other than an alien dead body, do you think a video will ever be good enough evidence in the UFO field? I always said that maybe a mass live streamed video of a worldwide event might be something that will give me. What's your feelings on one UFO video versus maybe a mass stream live UFO sighting?
I don't think a video of a sighting of an event would do it unless it was unless you had hundreds of people witnessing it to where people could not claim that it was faked, like a sighting over, say, Portland. If you had 100 different people, turning in videos all at the same time to the news channel, that would be a well done hoax. But, I think maybe something like that might, but you would still have people who would tear it apart. Short of a body or an actual ship. And I want to bring up one thing about that real quick. The 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles, the opening games, they flew in a UFO on a helicopter, and the damn thing looked real. And they had a little space dude look like an alien come out on the stage, and they basically staged a UFO landing with an alien coming out, and the response was amazing, but people weren't like, oh my God, was that real? If you should check it out sometime on YouTube, there's copies of it, and it's pretty amazing. But they were trying to do that way back then, I think, to acclimate people, to show people like, hey, this could happen,
What year was this again, so we can check it out? It was
1984 Olympics in Los Angeles.
Wow.
And that was the closing games where it was done at night. There's a whole story about it, just that UFO, and it's hard to get. I looked for like construction photographs or documents, blueprints, anything to try to verify that this wasn't just, like, oh yeah, of course we made this frame of this UFO, but yeah, it's worth looking into because it's some crazy footage and it makes you wonder,
What do you think about the reaction of the H.G. Wells' War of the World and how people responded to that? Do you think if we did something similar now, how do you think people would respond to something like that?
To a staged invasion, false flag attack or something. Yeah, I mean, we might have one. People have been talking about it for a long time, and it's been shown that governments of all kinds are willing to use such attacks for their own purposes. So it's not that far of a stretch to think that we could have something like that. Do they possess the technology to do it? I would think nowadays with drones and LEDs, sure, they could do something like that. They could really easily stage an alien, attack. They could shoot down an airplane and claim it was a UFO and have enough footage to get people to buy it. But it's kind of scary to me that people will believe that, but they wouldn't believe that a UFO landed on, San Antonio at the Riverwalk and, went out and bought tacos and took off. I'd be like, I don't know, like if there was footage of it, it's kind of crazy, but people would buy it. I think people would buy it if there was an alien attack because of all of the media, the films like War of the Worlds, where aliens attack. But I want to point out something. If aliens were to attack us and wanted to wipe us out, they could do it and we couldn't do anything about it. So I'm not going to believe. Yeah, I personally won't believe that an alien's going to show up and just zap one or two people. I'm not buying it. If aliens are going to show up and be harmful to us, they're going to do significant damage, or they're going to be here to enslave us, and we can't do anything about it. So, maybe short of nuking the planet with us on it. I mean, what's our alternative? Maybe that's why they're not here. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Keep your eyes open for false flag attacks. It could happen,
Audrey, hey Manny, Audrey saw a UFO leaving the bar the other night. Do you want to hear about her UFO, what it looked like?
It wasn't leaving the bar. It was in my yard. Or it was right here on the street.
Go ahead, say it. You got to say it into the mic.
It was just strange. I don't know if it's noteworthy or worthy of the internet, but I used to observe the skies a lot when I was a child, but I haven't really so much since I moved to the city. But you can kind of see something and I hope people that are skeptics realize that you can kind of use your inner compass. You can kind of sense if something is wrong or real or fake, and you should trust that instinct. I was walking down the street right here, and it was really struck to me because me and my father, one of our shared hobbies has been watching the sky ever since I was like a toddler. So I'm very used to watching things and how they move and how they float. And there was this very strange, I talked to Dave about it, but I don't know how to explain it better than kind of like a black jellyfish shaped object. And the way that it was moving in the sky is what really struck me. I'd never seen anything move with that particular range of motion. It had an oscillating, kind of pulsating, it moved against the current, but it was very strange. I got this very strange, but not bad vibe, but just unsettling. Something's not normal, doesn't follow the laws of nature, physics. I don't really know. It's not that significant. It was just a brief sighting.
Manny, have you ever done a video of any kind of weird looking UFOs in the past?
I've only personally caught footage of one, item that I would call a UFO. I've looked at, many different things, and I'll be standing out and I'll see something and track it with flight radar or whatever. And I don't document any of that stuff. But yeah, there was one time that I captured something that I, wasn't able to explain, and went back and looked for it over about an hour of time, filmed different footage, and then went back the next night looking for it again and couldn't find it. I'm not convinced it wasn't a planet or a star, honestly, because of the way it was moving, but I wasn't able to confirm it with the astronomy sites. I looked and I couldn't find anything. So,
anything on your Area 503 that you have done in the past on different weird looking UFOs in the sky?
Oh yeah, I've featured plenty of crazy ones, man. Some of them bother me too. In fact, I'm going to do a follow-up on one that I did like maybe nine months to a year ago, where I couldn't identify it, and it just kept bothering me and bothering me and bothering me. And I saw some footage recently, and I was like, wow, that's it. I finally have identified what this thing was, because I knew it was something man-made, but I couldn't identify what it was, you know. And that really, it steams me when I get so close to something like that. I'm like, oh, I'm this close to figuring out what that dang thing is, and I just can't get it, you know. Like, it really bothers me. But I'm going to do a follow-up video to that, and, you know, like here in the future, probably in the next week or two. And we'll see, you know, I can show everybody that, be like, look, I finally identified it. It only took me about a year, but I got it.
I have a video idea for you I want to share with you. Do you think you can help me?
Okay.
All right. So recently, and including in my videos that I personally taken from years ago, but recently you showcased a video on your 503 channel that looked exactly like the same thing that I recorded. And then I'll look at different other people's videos throughout the US and worldwide or whatever, and they will have recorded a same exact similar UFO. A lot of people call it this big white garbage bag looking thing flying all over the sky. I've seen this thing multiple times over Forest Park, Illinois, where I'm at. And you know what I would like your help in is maybe putting all these different videos together from all over the different world and show you that people are actually recording the same thing. Do you think that's something you might be interested in?
Is it something I might be interested in? I haven't done any research on that yet, so I'd have to start from scratch. I mean, you know, the best thing that I can recommend that you do, though, is if you're out researching this kind of stuff, when you see videos like that, grab them. You know, grab a text document and put the link in there for the video, or just download the thing and put it in a folder somewhere and start getting that together. You know, like that's something that I've learned about a lot of these things, is it's kind of a war of attrition. You know, you just kind of keep digging at something and digging at it. And you might have 5 or 6 different items that you're looking at, you know, but I would be curious to see some of that footage that you're talking about. I haven't actually seen any of it yet.
I will definitely show it to you. I will take screenshots of the different UFOs and I'll send them to you. And
if you've got links too, dude, that would be awesome to the originals, you know, like, because that's something that, you know, that's the legwork that I do, is I would go and grab them all and try to find, you know, similar pieces to look at, or, you know, to use to either include or exclude those as, you know, the same sighting or whatever.
Well, I'm a big fan of UFOs. I've always been, you know, I've seen them for a while now, but I'm not a scientist. I never claimed to be. I know my brothers think they're super scientists, but I want to be able to figure out how to prove this stuff, and maybe with the help of the collective, you know, maybe we could resolve this issue and find out if there's some legitimacy to these UFO videos or not. You know, that's what I'm looking for to do.
Yeah. Then you just start grabbing all those common links, get them all together. Like I said, keep a folder on your desktop on your computer, and whenever you stumble across something like that, grab a copy and throw it in there. You know, and yeah. But if you want me to look at it, then send me the links and I'll take a look at it. You know, give them to me after the show and I will look at them.
We'll connect the dots, like Chuck Bam always says, in the, you know, dots. What do you think about chat rooms, Manny? I know you look at a lot of chat rooms. Do you have fun in chat rooms? Do you enjoy those? Are you ever gonna do your own live stream, or you just start?
You know, I'm not really, you know, the live stream thing is not really for me. You know, like I enjoy coming on every now and then and doing a little guest spot like your show, like on Goof On. I hang out in Rich's stream because I like listening to Rich, and the chat room is great. Everyone in there is cool, you know, like, but that's really the only one that I really hang out in, to be honest with you. All the rest of them, I just kind of go and check out, you know, different people if they're talking about something that I'm interested in. Yeah, but I think the chat rooms are pretty good, you know, like the Goof On one's great. I haven't really been able to see your chat because I've been on the show, you know, so
Right.
yeah, I can't follow it, but yeah, I think it's great. You know, everyone seems to be friendly, and I think it's good that you can kind of interact with your you know, the people that are watching your show. If I ever did a live stream, it would probably be centered around a video release, but I just started doing premieres on YouTube for my videos, so I might just use that. You know, it's just as good or close.
When did you start watching Richie Goof On or listening? Do you know?
Oh, Yeah, maybe I don't know, maybe around January. It's only been a few months, you know,
What
3 or 4 months.
what made you interested?
I actually found Rich on Twitter. We bumped across each other. I think he was recommended on the feed there from someone, you know, like it's like, oh, people in this discussion or something. But I found him on there, and then YouTube kept giving me pop-ups saying, oh, you know, because I subscribed to his channel. It was like, hey, you know, check out Goof check out Goof and I'd meant to for a while. I'd meant to get over there and check it out, and then when I finally did get on there, I just happened to join his stream on a day where he was showing one of my videos and talking about it, and I was like, oh my god, like what a coincidence, you know, like the one day I try to get in here and he's, to check it out and he's playing my video. But I've been a fan ever since. Like I like Richie's show. He's, you know, I like his attitude, and everyone in that chat room's a lot of fun.
Isn't it weird how the world works sometimes, Manny? You know, you're sitting there hanging out, and all of a sudden, wow, there's my video being played right now. That's super cool.
Right. Yeah. I have some good luck with stuff like that. You know, like I don't have luck on the gambling tables at all. But yeah, with little things like that, I have some pretty good luck, and I'm humble enough to know it, you know?
That's awesome. Yeah, I don't have much luck with stuff, but sometimes, you know, synchronicity does kick in for me. Like today, I got to hang out with my two good friend people, Matt and Audrey. They're chilling out right now. Hey, Manny, Matt wants to share a quick Forest Park, Illinois paranormal story with us. Can we share it with him real quick? Or can we ask him to share? Go ahead, Matt.
No, I want to steal your seat.
No, oh, you want to steal my seat?
Yeah, I want to steal your seat. You're in a good position.
All right, come here. Matt wants to take my seat, Manny. I'm going to give him the floor for a minute, okay?
All right, put him center stage, man.
Manny, can you bounce off and talk to him too while he's going? Please, you got to be the co-host right now for 1 minute.
All right, how's my hair look?
Impeccable, man.
Thank you. You have a damn fine beard, by the way.
Thank you. I worked very hard at it.
I hope one day my beard is on your beard level.
You can have it when I'm done with it, man.
Go ahead and say your story.
So anyway,
what's the story?
Right, so we're recording live out of Forest Park. Forest Park is a smaller suburb of Chicago. We're a neighbor to the more famous Oak Park, where there's a bunch of Frank Lloyd Wright buildings and Ernest Hemingway's from there. Now, Forest Park's claim to fame is that we have a ton of cemeteries, right? So at one point, I think this stopped being true in the late 90s. We were in the Guinness Book of World Records for the highest ratio of dead citizens to living. You know, because the town is like 2/3 cemetery, you know. And for context there, like we used to practice soccer, like where we practice soccer, the field, if you kick the ball out of bounds, you have to go retrieve it from a cemetery, you know. So
right.
Kind of spooky. So here's where the actual story starts. So well back in the day, I think around 1918, there was a circus traveling around the country, and they had stopped for the night. They were traveling by rail, and they got off and they stopped on like a little area where it cuts off, right? And apparently someone forgot to switch the tracks back off, so you had this circus car stopped, and a speeding freight train came through and just massacred this whole circus, right? So what had various circus performers paid for all these people to be buried in Forest Park at Forest Home Cemetery, about 3/4 of a mile that away. You know, animals included, right? So in Forest Home Cemetery, there is an easy to find spot called Showman's Rest. where all these people are buried, along with various animals. And where it gets spooky is at night, they say that you could still hear some of these animals, make, their howls and noises like elephants and lions.
Mm-hmm. So like ghost animals?
Yeah, ghost animals. Ghost people too. Some of these people were identified even in death.
I believe animals have a spirit. I believe you could have a ghost animal. If you believe you can have a human ghost, why couldn't you have a, elephant ghost?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, but
elephants are exceedingly intelligent. So
yeah, sure, I believe it. That's an interesting story. Do you know when that happened? Was that the 30s or the 60s, or when did that happen?
I'm saying around 1918, and I feel like a jackass because I should have done the research before it came out. But
we're not digging into it like that today. I was just curious, like the general time frame. That sounds, I figured with searching
the 1918s when circuses were traveling around the country by rail.
And you might dig into that. You might go down to your local county records office, or if there's a clerk or a register or something, and see if they've got any information about it. You can do a lot online, if you get specific dates and whatnot, but nothing beats having somebody in the local area to help investigate something like that, to go and get something that might not be on Google, an old newspaper clipping or written statement by someone that's in an odd government file or something, you never know.
Have you ever been on the website Atlas Obscura?
Can't say that I have.
It's a website that lists kind of strange tourist attractions. I'm trying to get Showman's Rest on that.
Okay. Well, dig into it, man. That sounds like a real interesting story.
Definitely. And well, hopefully I'll be back at some point telling more creepy Forest Park Cemetery stories.
That was cool. Thank you, Matt. Big round of applause from the chat room for Matt, right? He wanted to tell them about, he's a big fan of Forest Park, Illinois, as am I. And with all the businesses and the small businesses hurting right now, Matt's intentions are to, help out Forest Park. So I thank you for doing that, Manny. It was very nice of you.
Yeah, we give a shout out to Forest Park, man.
Do you have any local businesses you want to give shout outs to, or anything that you're involved with, or people that you know?
Everything's still closed down here. Honestly, they're starting to open up a few businesses, but everyone's just we're still kind of in a mild freeze here in Oregon, and everybody's hurt here. Everyone from Powell's bookstore downtown, the big local chain, but to all of the bars and restaurants, half of those have already gone and closed. Some people made it, some people didn't, and it's really tragic.
Are you currently working? If you don't mind me asking.
No, I've been off since the second week of March. Really, there hasn't been any work for me since the bars and restaurants are closed. Until they open back up again fully, there really won't be.
Yeah, it's a real tragedy what happened to the restaurant and bar industry for sure. I hope that when this is over, everybody storms back to the bars and restaurants and gets your drinks on and your food on for sure. Because when people chill out and talk like we are right now, Manny, that's what makes the world go round, right?
Yeah, hopefully people are entertained and they're not like throwing empty beer cans at their computer screens.
What's your favorite place to go to in Oregon when you hang out? Is there any cool spots people should visit when they go there?
Yeah, for me, it's always Flying Pie Pizza, man. They've got the best pizza in town. We have a lot of good pizza in Portland, but they're one of the best. And I've been going there since I was a kid. It's great. And there's another pizza place called American Dream. So it's all pizza places, but hopefully they all survive the shutdown and whatnot. Most of them are doing okay with deliveries and stuff, but it's hard,
Is your co-producer still around?
No, he's in full-on nap mode, man. I'm going to let him just lay.
The kitty cat?
Yeah.
His name's Doobie?
Yeah. Sometimes it's Doobie, sometimes it's Monsieur Dubois, sometimes it's Prince Dubois. Whatever. Uh, but yeah, he's taking a nice little nap, and I'm just gonna let him sleep.
That's cool. Audrey wants to say one last thing to you before she goes.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
This is really fun. This is really interesting. I hope this really leads to opening more of a discourse, guys. And I hope people will be more open-minded than ever going into the world is so strange. Hopefully, people will hopefully be more open to possibility now that the world is so turbulent. I hope.
Do you think the world will have a better future, Manny?
Yeah, I do. I think in the long run, I think the world's going to look pretty cool. It might not be a nice, easy road to get there, and there's going to be some bad parts on the way. But I think the overall outlook is pretty good. Hopefully, unless I'm just blowing smoke up my own ass. I don't know.
Oh God, these guys with the dings. Do you guys? Chuck Bam does this to me on purpose. He'll send me a million dings. I'm sorry you're hearing all that. They're trying to be funny. If you
spam it during your stream.
If you could have fun, I mean, if you could travel now anywhere and just go chill out for a couple weeks, where would you want to go? Where would be your favorite spot to go take a break? And
that's a good question, man. On the Earth here, I'd like to go down to Antarctica for a little bit and just chill out down there. It's a cold desert, but I would like to see what it's like down there.
That's amazing. Yeah. You're the first person I've ever heard say that to me in my life.
Oh yeah, that they want to go down there?
Yeah.
I've heard that that's the number one requirement to get a job in Antarctica is the desire to go down there, because it's pretty challenging to get people to go down there. But I would totally sign on for that. I'd go down there for a year or 6 months or whatever.
What would your job to be? I mean, what would you do while you're in Antarctica?
I would cook, man. I'd just make people food. I'd do what I do best, man. Make them biscuits and gravy, and cook them up some good pot roast, and soups and stuff, man. They all got to eat down there.
When I was in the Marine Corps and I wanted to be an MP, and they had closed my MOS school down 6 months before I was when I was getting in, and I said, well, I'm just going to be here for 4 months or 4 years to pay for my college anyways, so I'll take whatever job you want. So they made me a combat cook.
Right. Combat cook.
I got really good at it. I graduated #1 from the school. I got a meritorious promotion. I picked my chow hall. I went to Southern California, and I was cooking for 3,000 people every day, man. It was crazy.
Nice. So were you like Steven Seagal in Under Siege? Were you like that kind of combat cook, like kicking ass and taking names?
throwing knives. You're dead. Throwing fucking hot eggs at people.
Right. Skillets and fucking whisks, man.
I was actually in during the Clinton years, so it was kind of a 9-to-5 job. So
right on.
And then after that, I love to cook, man. It was weird when I was a little kid. When I was like 3 or 4 years old, I couldn't sleep in daycare, and so I would always hang out with the lunchroom lady. And she taught me how to make scrambled eggs, and ever since then, I love to cook. Are you a great cook? Is that what you do?
Oh yeah, I've cooked in various roles over the years. From a line cook all the way up to like a big catering cook or something for big events. Like I've done it all.
What's your favorite thing to make for Manny himself? What if you're gonna sit down and make a meal? What's your favorite thing to eat?
I do some pretty good baby backs on a Traeger and with like a nice home spicy barbecue sauce. And my sausage gravy that I do from scratch is pretty damn good too.
That's awesome. Yeah. At Spaced Out Radio is going to have a convention in Las Vegas soon. I hope you get invited to that, because I would want to hang out with you and have some.
Oh, nice.
I told you I'm going to be in Yakima, Washington for a few months, so I do hope we get to hang out then.
Hey, dude, call me. Yeah, Yakima's not that. I mean, it's a little bit of a drive, but come on, it's not like driving, from Texas to, Florida or something.
Matt wants to yell out one movie he wants to recommend for you. Okay, here he comes.
Okay.
I didn't just mean it for you. I meant for all the people viewing this. Sorry. The Witch on Netflix. Y'all love it. If you're into ghosts and shit, you'll just fucking love that movie. I loved it. Great movie. You gotta be a little bit patient for it. It takes place in like the 1600s, so using 1600s kind of dialogue. So
I've seen it. It's a good movie. I agree.
yeah, I know that movie kicks ass, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I watched it.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, that was awesome.
Yeah.
This guy knows what he's talking about.
There's a couple good ones. You want a good, alien life one? Watch Life with what's his name, Jake Gyllenhaal. That's a good one. Arrival, it's a good one.
You guys were talking Antarctica, and that made me think of John Carpenter's The Thing, one of my personal favorites. Oh, yeah.
Of course, dude. That's why I want to go down there. I'd find that sucker. I wouldn't kill it, though. I'd be like, come on, man. You're coming with me, dude. We're going to hang out. We're going to have some beers, we'll do some barbecue, man. Like, I'm going to go show the world you.
So apparently at the actual Antarctic research station, every year, right before they get trapped there, they can't leave because it's winter. They watch that movie.
They're actually quarantined down there, and they're the only continent on the planet right now that doesn't have a COVID-19 case because they've been in lockdown since all this whole thing started. And nobody in, nobody out. Keep that in mind.
Well, I want to say that you're awesome, Manny. We're getting here to the end of the hour, and it went by really fast.
I had a good time, man. It was good hanging out with you guys and talking about stuff.
You're an awesome guest. We got an awesome chat room. We got a bunch of cool friends. We're starting a bunch of nice stuff. I'm glad you're a part of it, Manny. You're super cool and awesome. Everybody out there, you guys better subscribe to Area 503. He's a great guy. He's got cool stuff.
And if you're ever in Forest Park, swing by Carroll's.
There you go. You heard it.
Or really anywhere in Cook County.
Anything else to add before you go, Manny?
No, man. Just say, keep doing what you're doing, man. Like you said earlier about not having those tools before when you were UFO hunting, you've got them now. So all you can do is be prepared. You can't go back in the past and, change what, you could have, should have, would have done. But now you are prepared if you see something, and you're spreading the word, which is also good because you're going to get other people to be prepared. And networking, man, let's just keep spreading this thing and getting the word out there and getting more people looking at these UFOs and trying to figure out what they are all together. We can do it. The more people that we have looking at it, the better our chances.
I think that's a great word to end it on. Let's all keep networking out there. The chat rooms, the YouTube room channels, and just the various people talking real stuff like Manny and I did today. I hope I see more of it in the future. Thank you for being here, Manny. I'll see you again. Okay, buddy?
You got it. Anytime, Gutter. So long, chat room.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Manny.
Nice to meet you, Manny.
All right, we'll see you. All right, guys, we've reached the end of the hour. Thank you all for being here. You guys say bye to Audrey and Matt, who are helping me out during this time. There they are.
Hey.
All right, thanks, you
guys.
guys. I had a fun night. There's a lot of people here tonight. That was pretty wild. This is awesome. You guys are awesome. You guys know you're awesome. You guys are all super cool. You guys know that. Subscribe to my channel. We'll do it again soon.
And thank you all for supporting Dave's channel.
Bye, guys. Peace.